Hey everybody, this is Willie Jello Johnson. You can hear us on Breathe Radio, that's right. Take a deep breath, baby, just breathe. Now, if you want to get a hold of Christopher Titus, hit him on Twitter, @TitusNation, or if you want to hit him on the Facebook, The Real Christopher Titus. And now, with the Armageddon Update, is Christopher Titus. Hell yeah.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update, and happy Independence Day. That's right. We are again coming around to the birthday of America, and this weekend again, people will get drunk, play with explosives, and some of them will lose appendages. Ha ha! Happy birthday, America, you insane frat boy. See you in the ER wearing your American flag shirt. That was made in China. Let's take stock of our amazing country right now. Our codependent imperialistic ambitions are being filled by keeping many countries weaponed up until they decide to turn the weapons on us, and then we get to pay Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, and Halliburton to invent new weapons to destroy our old weapons, with the side effect of our soldiers getting killed in a country that hates us and will never help us. That's right. The rocket's red glare we invented, and then we gave it to people who pointed the rockets right back at us. Oh yeah, you didn't know this, but we armed ISIS in Syria, and now they're using our weapons to take Iraq. Yay, America! Happy 4th of July. Here at home, we still have our amazing freedom. If you don't look at the NSA, cameras on every corner, the IRS having a direct connection to your bank account, and the ominous iCloud saving everything you have ever thought, written, or downloaded. Freedom! Yay! Enjoy it! But make sure you clear it with your local police department. Our government also keeps us safe from companies doing horrible things to us for profit. Well, except for drug companies, cigarette companies, oil companies, and chemical companies. Hey, but at least the food has to be healthy. And so what if it has bug parts and wax and plastic or paper as filler? Yeah, our government really takes care of us. And I mean that in the way Michael Corleone meant it when talking about Fredo. As a people, we have become incredibly narcissistic, overly dramatic, and more worried about how cool we look than doing something cool for anyone except ourselves. You know, our founding fathers thought we should stay out of other countries' wars. We don't. They thought that the government shouldn't impose taxes without the approval of the people. We don't. They thought that the government has to protect the people and its health. It doesn't. And our Supreme Court has made it legal for corporations to basically buy death credits from Congress. Our representatives care more about money and power than leaving a legacy of a better America. And this is nothing new, but it has gotten to a point that I have never seen in my life. Where are the patriots who are selfless in their helping of their fellow countrymen regardless of party, who will stand up to stop a government from sending one more soldier to die on foreign soil, a foreign country that presents no threat except for rising gasoline prices? Where are the freedom fighters that hold our leaders' feet to the fire when they're doing for themselves instead of the people they represent? Where are the Americans on this 4th of July? This weekend, as you drink your freedom beer and wolf down your second cheeseburger, think about what kind of American you are. Do you care about all Americans or just your side of the political aisle? Are you so locked down that you believe that anyone who doesn't hold your idea is an idiot and should be killed? Are you so self-important that you actually think that you are right when we all know that I am right? Or are you an American that believes in one country, one people, no matter your religion, race, or beliefs? An American that can disagree with another idea only after you understand what your fellow countryman means. And then, in a moment of friendly disagreement, you can light fireworks together. And whoever has all their fingers at the end of the night can drive to the emergency room. I'm Christopher Titus. And this is the Armageddon Update. Happy 4th of July, bitches. Hello, everybody. Let me do it again. Hello, everybody. Christopher Titus. That was much better, wasn't it? That was cleaner. Happy 4th of July weekend, or whatever, whenever you're listening to this. I am here, as always, to my right, the lovely Bombshell Rae, who, by the way, has some sort of SARS or Ebola thing that's just kind of overtaken her.
I think it's monkeypox.
You have monkeypox and your ears are infected?
By the way, I just want to say, first of all, my apologies for last week. Last week was my fault, and the sickness has endured and is kicking me arse.
It changed. It actually morphed.
Yeah. So now today it's sinus infection and ear infection, and I'm on new antibiotics. However, I just want to say that I like Christmas Titus, which is what you were starting to say. And if we could just go with that, I feel like Christmas Titus would be the nicer, more friendly, happier counterpart.
But only for 2 days a year, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
It's like,
and then he's mad, and he starts stressing about the next year.
It's like you're Yeezus or Jigaman.
Yo, what's up? I'm Christmas Titus.
Sasha Fierce. Yours is
That's my
Christmas
other character,
Titus.
Christmas Titus. It's a good Armageddon update. And to my left, the lovely, we have a guest.
Yay.
We have a guest from around the world traveler who goes around the planet constantly, just bringing beauty and joy to people. Bombshell, what are you doing?
Well, I was feeling pretty good until I heard your Armageddon update, and now I'm depressed.
It's called the Armageddon update for a reason. I can't just call it the Armageddon update and be like, everything's great.
No, that was the Armageddon down date.
That's what Christmas Titus does.
Yeah, Christmas Titus.
2 days a year.
So Christmas Titus will do December. It'll be all Christmas Titus all December, and we'll just do pro-life good things. I am just got to the point when... So we spent all this money, and I went twice to Iraq and saw the guys. Not that I went to Iraq on a tour. I went to do jokes for the guys. But I got to see a lot of them, meet a lot of them. We have a family member that you're very close to that works over there in the Middle East all the time, and we know how crazy and bad it was. And the way we went in, I don't want to talk about how we went in, but we were there. We were there. Guys were at war. We lost 4,500 men. And we lost, and how many guys came back, and women. And thank you. Sorry. I forgot who I'm with.
Geez.
I forgot who I'm sitting with. On top of that, we have so many guys hurt, and then the VA screws up, and then now ISIS is in Iraq. Iraq is in shambles again. We didn't do anything in Syria, but should have we done so? I mean, and then you look at like our Supreme Court just made it okay. Basically said a corporation has religious rights, and it just all of a sudden I feel like we're in this weird place at the birthday of our country right now, where everything that those guys stood for and started seems to be unraveling in a way that I have never seen. The only thing that made me think anything was pro-America was the World Cup in Brazil. People had painted their face like American flags and were screaming for a game that didn't start in America. And that seems to be currently the most American thing going on. Our Congress is out of control. Neither side can work together. I'm just to a point I'm like, where are we at as a country right now? And I don't want to talk about who's right, who's wrong, who did this, who did that. I want to talk about there is actually no joy.
You only want to talk about who's right or wrong when you're right.
I was going to say.
No. Let's be real.
No, that isn't.
I was going to say, you're setting some parameters on this podcast.
If you guys, okay, all right. The problem is you got to remember, I do research all the time, so I'm gonna turn my paper over, and if you guys want to go here, we can go here. I really.
I love that. That's the gauntlet.
No, I'm ready.
He's turned his paper over.
You want to
He's
go
making marks.
You want to go who's right
There's
or who's
numbers.
wrong? Oh, I have plenty here.
Can we speak to Christmas right now?
Hey, hi, welcome to the podcast. Yeah, what's going on? It's not as bad as he says.
Christmas loves opposing views and embraces all views, big and small.
That's what I'm saying. No one will listen. Like me and Bombshell don't agree on a lot of things. And last night we had a discussion, and I sat there and I listened to what she said, and I was like, okay, I see that point. I don't always agree with it, but I see the point. We don't do that anymore. Try to get in an argument with somebody about anything. Obama, Congress, Bush, anything in this country, the Hobby Lobby thing. Try to discuss someone who has an opposing view. There is no, I never thought of that. I don't agree with that, but I see what you're saying. Hey, let's still go get a beer. That doesn't happen anymore. We've lost that in this country. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's been like this forever, and I'm just tired of it. You think every once in a while someone would pick up a history book and understand that this doesn't work.
But you have to understand, too, Christopher, that I come from a generation I was telling Rachel earlier today, chanting, hell no, we won't go during the Vietnam War.
Together, everybody.
Yeah, well, no, my father certainly was not chanting that, and he nearly had a heart attack.
But white, black,
that I was.
White, black, whatever race of your generation was doing that. They were all together.
Actually, I think that for one brief, shiny moment during that time, that blacks and whites did seem, or African Americans and whites did seem to be, it was like a time where you could be friends across all kinds of barriers, and then it sort of...
We prefer Negroes and honkies.
And then it sort of... Thank you. Oh, Lord help me. It sort of transmogrified somewhere into difference. There was a time when it felt like there was some kind of a place to work from and to grow from, but it really became more about differences, which is what you're talking about
That's
today.
an amazing point. There was a point where we were kind of we recognized each other's differences, but we're on the same page.
Are you admitting to being old enough to remember that time?
I was not born yet. I was not born yet. I was 1 year from being born. No, I was 1 year. Well, no, it's maybe I was 4 or 5 years old. You talk what, 68, 69?
69.
Okay, so I was a little kid. I was not at the protests. I was playing with my Hot Wheels. But hell no, we won't roll. That's what I was saying.
I was going to say, I can still imagine you bitching about something. So
I was 5. Yes, I was bitching about something.
And the
Although
other
Christmas
visual,
Titus was happy.
The other visual from that was, somebody putting a flower in a rifle. If everyone refused to go, there'd be no more war or something along that. It was really a time, as I look back at it, that was very optimistic and hopeful, and we don't. I think what you're expressing now, though, I don't agree with all the cynical point of view that you're working from here.
I know you live in a weird, in a nice bubbly world.
If I don't live in a nice
perfect.
Bubbly world in the Middle East, I am not going to
don't.
survive. 2 days. But I think that
my cynicism is based in jokes. I still am very positive here. My cynicism.
Actually, you're a patriot, and one of the things I respect about you is that you're a patriot.
Yeah. That's
I'm a
right.
patriot.
Yeah.
I am a patriot. We may not always agree on what that entails, but we love our country.
Right.
And I think
I also like panini. I don't know if that means anything, but it's the P word.
I like spaghetti avangeli.
I like pickles.
There you go. Yes, well, I would say that I do believe in this country. I believe in the ideas of this country, but I also believe that we have gone a long way. We've taken a hard off ramp in a way. And especially, I think in the last, I would go back to Clinton. I even think Carter, although he was inept as a president, I think he's a patriot. I think Carter really is, and a good man. Yeah. I think when it comes to, I think Carter would have been a brilliant vice president. I think he'd have been a brilliant vice president, but it's because he would have tempered a ballsy president. That would, but
he was our first touchy-feely president.
He's a good man. He's a really good man and a patriot. I think there's the narcissism of the last, I would say, 18 years has really, really, really screwed our country up, man. This guy that just killed his kid. Did you see this? I've been watching it all morning on the news.
He was sexting some other woman.
He was sexting. He's married, has a kid. He's sexting 6 other women. One of them was 17. He started sexting her when she was 16. And this guy's a dopey looking. He's every doughy, bubbly redneck I've ever seen. We've all seen him in the South. The guys that don't work out, but they had that congratulations on your confidence guys. He's that guy. And
I think I saw one today on Ventura.
Yeah, they're all over. You're right. They're not. It's not regulated to the South. You're absolutely right. LA has way more confidence with no backup. But I'm watching it, and this guy was a bad guy. And now, does that mean he killed his kid? I don't know. They said that the smell in the car was so bad. And my point is that we are so narcissistic. They found on his computer that he was looking, living childless. He was like, it was like a site that here's how good life is when you don't have a kid. Oof. And that was on his computer. The other thing was, how long does it take a kid to die in a car? It's like literally, Casey Anthony just went, whoo, oh, hey, the heat's off me a little bit now.
And, conversely, I look at the time when I was raising my children when they were home and young as being the happiest time of my life.
I hear that you were literally Leave It to Beaver's mom. I hear the stories I hear about Bombshell about
Aside
you.
from the home perms.
Yes, right. There was some damage. There was some child protective service needed at some points when you got near the hair.
Her solution to my left side not curling into Jew poodle like the right side was to get
Jew poodle. It turned into
Jew
poodle.
A big denim bow,
right?
Barrette,
right?
That was about 3 feet long
to balance the side of your head,
and just click it in on the left side.
I was never good at hair. I just wasn't.
But you tried.
I did.
She definitely did try
on your daughter, not on yourself. You tried on you.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't do.
But that's what your kids are. Your kids are really just they're just little beakers. Yeah, they're little experiments, little beakers. You're my little Bunsen burner.
This one's turned out all right, don't you think?
She did. She turned out great, phenomenal. I did some work in the last 8 years too, though.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't want to listen. I'm picking up my pen again.
Oh my
I'm picking up my pen. Here we go. Making a
Okay,
list.
the first time you threatened and turned your paper over, I want people to know you numbered the page 1 through 4.
I'm just ready because I was waiting.
He's now added 5, 6, and 7.
That's how I raised Bombshell. There's no Shadow. Why you got to give up what I'm doing? I'm just
nothing
waiting.
next to the numbers.
I'm waiting for you guys to give me something to fight against, and then I'm going after it. So I think we've all lost the ability to be patriots when it comes to. We also have a family member that's on Border Patrol, and to know what our country's doing in that way, we are letting people who aren't from here cross the border constantly, and it's finally starting to overflow. There was a bus going to Marietta this week with 140 people, 140 illegals that came across the border, kids and moms and stuff, and they stopped the buses. They stopped the buses in the street and they protested. And one of them spitting. The one Mexican guy was going, He's going, we pick your fruit, we pick your blah blah blah. Hey, you know what?
Right, who's going to do it if you're not there anymore?
Yeah, we will do it and have jobs. They'd have more jobs here. Here's my problem. They go, yeah, but Americans aren't going to pick the fruit. Well, if you weren't here doing it for 4 cents an hour or for $1 an hour, they would have to raise the prices a little bit, and we could maybe pay Americans to do it. Now, do I think that would happen? I don't know. I just think that...
well, even so, it's not unusual to have an expat come in and work in your country and leave.
Well, I love that our country's built on immigrants. We're all immigrants.
I mean,
Everybody here,
it's just not.
Part of you are Indian. Part of Bombshell is Indian. So part of you was here before. You too?
I'm her daughter.
I thought it was your father.
On her side, it's Creek.
Creek Indian.
On Dad's side, it's Cherokee.
Because I have Grandpa Titus was also. Now Grandma Titus was from England, but Grandpa Titus was he was 132nd Indian.
Of what tribe?
I don't know. They came from Oklahoma, whatever the Oklahoma.
Okies. Well, it could have been Cherokee.
Yeah.
Ended up in Oklahoma.
That would explain a lot about my attitude.
I have Cherokee on Dad's side, so we could be related.
I don't even want to. Let's don't go. Well, let's go back. As long as we're beyond second cousins, we're fine. So, way back. Good to see you. You are so beautiful. We can get married. It is legal. The elders have said it is okay.
He's lost it.
I know.
But if we're all immigrants, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is countries just going, hey, we're going to ship you to America because we can't handle our own house. Go to America, live there. They're going to give you a check and housing, and they're going to take care of you. We have to stop that to some degree. And if you go back, we were supposed to build a border fence, except here's where states' rights came in. We should have federalized it. Instead, what we did was we gave all the states. There was no requirements. There was no here's the detail what the fence has to be. You guys do it your way. So we have some fences in Texas that are cow fences, and the fences in San Diego that are 3 foot thick, 30-foot high walls with barbed wire on the top.
And they don't meet at the state lines. They're low, they're high, they don't quite go together.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so we screwed up there. And I'm not going to blame any administration, because if you go back through history, all the way back to the beginning, every administration has been inept in some way. There's been great ones and bad ones. But at the time, you've been around a little longer than I have, but not much longer.
God bless you, son-in-law.
But I'm gonna ask this. You noticed that if you go back to, you remember, I was a little kid, so I don't remember so many presidents. But every president at the time of him being president is an idiot, except for Kennedy, where people loved Kennedy. But even Kennedy, they were all mad because of the Bay of Pigs and all kinds of stuff, right?
Actually, when Kennedy was running for office, people were scared to death because he was going to be the first Catholic president. So
what did they think was going to happen?
Well, I think that people thought differently then. It was sort of on the one hand,
a Catholic.
Yeah,
Catholic, what are we going to do?
It was like foreign to people, and I remember people loved Reagan. I mean, he was a lovable president.
We loved Reagan because he was like your favorite uncle. We loved Reagan.
And because he would actually do something. You felt like that if something was going wrong, he wasn't going to sit back and try to find out, to test the temperature of public opinion.
Right.
He tried to do, I think what we're looking for is someone who's trying not just to stay in office, but to actually be a person of integrity
Right.
across the board.
Right. If we had, and maybe they wouldn't last, but it would be interesting because that's what Congress was built as originally. You were supposed to go off your farm, leave your business, and you were going to go
For a
serve
short
the country
time.
for a short
Yeah.
time, serve the
And
country
go
for your shot. You did your shot. You did the best you could for your community, and then you went back. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It has since turned into an incredible. It's a job now. It's a job, and you know they're not voting on anything. Do you know why they're not voting on anything? It's not because they don't want to put it through. It's because either way, because whatever political side can make fun of them. If you say, yes, we want to have immigration reform, well, then they can go, your opponent can go, in the primary can go, well, he voted for immigration reform, and it didn't work out. So anything they vote for, there's going to be a downside. So what they did was, this Congress did, is they just don't vote for anything. And then there's nothing they can hold against them except for being inept. I say vote them all out. People, if I can give you this little message on this 4th of July, when it comes to, and I know it's a bitch, I know it's a pain in the ass to get up and vote, but it's also not a pain in the ass if you look at other countries, if they try to vote, they get beheaded. They get hung on a soccer post. We don't do that. We can go down, we get a little sticker. We get a sticker, we get a decal. That's how good it is in our country. So go vote. Go vote in the congressional, in the midterms. Here's why. But do me a favor. Vote out every incumbent, Democrat and Republican, every single one. And again, I've said this for 5 years. If we did it one time, if we got together as Americans, right and left, because by the way, you say, well, what if what Democrat gets in? How much worse is he going to do? How much possible worse could it be done? All we're going to do is flip it all. It's going to flip it all, and it's still going to be the same gridlock, except those guys who are new will have known that we, the American people, cleaned house, literally cleaned house in Senate. And if that happens, guess what happens next? People go, we better get something done or we're having this job for 2 years. At that point, it would remind them again that we run this country, not them.
So go and vote, in the words of Christopher Titus, and put the thing down, flip it in reverse.
Yeah. Don't bullshit, take a bang, bang. So, and we bitch all the time. Everybody in America bitches all the time. Now, you have a unique opinion because you're across the world all the time. You've been to how many different countries in the last year? 7 or 8? It's crazy how much you travel.
I don't remember.
More than that.
She's speaking worldwide on art, bringing beauty to the planet. Nice job. One of the best, by the way, painters I've ever seen. And artists.
I sound like a fat guy. I keep hearing myself in my headphones.
You do sound like a fat guy.
I apologize to everyone. I'm hearing myself and I'm trying not to, but I have to breathe. It turns out it's necessary.
People don't know how sick you've been. This girl has been sick for 9 days now, and it didn't get better. She was on antibiotics instantly, and like day 2, right? Because it was so bad. Got her on antibiotics. It didn't go away. And then all of a sudden it got worse.
Yeah, today he was like, just quit taking those. Try these.
They're obviously not working.
Yeah, those don't work for sinus infections and ear infections, he said. So try these and quit taking those. But these are going to cause some other side effects. So here's another pill to take after you finish these antibiotics to replace some of
all the bacteria that you're killing inside your body.
Right.
You're basically going to be a robot at the end of these.
Actually,
antibiotics.
if you just ate yogurt while you're taking it, you wouldn't need to take those other pills.
And Yogurtland is open till midnight, so we are so in.
Somehow we just ended up in a feminine care commercial. Wow.
But it was. I like to take care of your feminine.
This has been a
So
Massengill moment brought to you by...
Oh, yeah, you went too far now. When you were in the Middle East, compared to our country, because although I bitch about America all the time, and the Armageddon update too, I agree with you, is very cynical. The problem is that I still believe this is the best country in the world. I believe that what we have, except for maybe Norway. Norway kicks ass. Except the tax rate's like 51%.
Yeah, but who wants to live in Norway?
That's true. You gotta live in Norway.
Yeah.
No. We have listeners in Norway.
I'll do comedy there. I'm not living there. They don't like living there. They just don't know how to get the hell out.
They speak whatever it is, Norwegian or something.
We get free college. We got all it's very funny in Norway. It's cold, but we have big coat. Great coat, very warm shoe. But they don't have what we have in the Middle East.
I don't see what we have anywhere. And I think you hear a lot of people talk, oh, these other countries are so wonderful. But one of the issues that you just talked about as far as immigration is other countries don't have that problem because they don't allow it.
Right. They just cut it off.
I could live forever in most of the countries that I've been in recently and never become a citizen. It's not open to me. I can where I live right now, I can only buy property if I buy it in conjunction with the person who
Lives there.
Yeah, is living there, and even then, I could not become a citizen. And so
Really? Wait. See, we assume that the rest of the world is like us.
The
It's
world
not
is
at
nothing
all.
like us, and everywhere I go, people want to go to the United States. I actually. Well, I was in Iran for a week a couple months ago.
Now, how the hell did they let you in Iran? You got
I
to tell
don't know.
me.
Politics have changed. We've tried.
But that's crazy.
We've been trying to get into Iran for 5 years. And
why did you want to go to Iran?
Because of Persepolis. Because of all the thing. You need to read about Persepolis.
I love that she sang it like she thought we'd get
Well,
it
we
that
were
much
there.
more. We're still
Is that
like,
a new
what's-
band, Persepolis?
While we were there, when we were actually in
Is that a new
at
Greek
Persepolis,
the action guy?
I
Persepolis?
just kept saying, there's Ed Sullivan.
I thought. Do you want to know how I am?
Persepolis.
When she started
Ed
to
Sullivan.
say
She's
it,
doing Ed Sullivan references? What just happened?
when she
That's
started to say it, I thought she was going to say purses, and I thought, of course, I would totally
they
risk
copy
my
a
life.
Versace and a Gucci purse like you wouldn't believe in
I
Iran.
would totally risk my life for
but
that.
here's the thing: you hear so much negative about Iran, and all you see on TV is people with their fist in the air in front of the U.S. or what used to be the U.S. embassy,
And a
blah,
burning
blah, blah.
American flag.
Burning American flag. We go there, and people would say, where are you from in broken, whatever. And I would say, America. And they would say, where? And I would say, America. And they go, oh, welcome. And it was like, and that's how it was everywhere we went.
It's a trick.
And so, but I think that
And then
She
they-
also thinks she was followed the whole time.
Yeah,
and
I
they
was. We were
stab you with
followed.
shawarma.
We were absolutely followed because we're the first, I believe we were the first group of Americans to go in there for tourism in a long years and years and years. And so they would not have wanted something to happen to us.
Oh, so they
And
weren't following you to make sure you weren't screwing up. They were following you to make sure no one messed with you.
That would make more sense. We were
It's good to know
fingerprinted.
that my girl's mom is over in a country where she might get blown up or shot, so they have someone else following her. Are you out of your mind going to Iran?
A little bit.
I know.
I only have
I
this
love that
one
about
life.
you, but short life, keep the pedal down. That's what I would say.
They took our fingerprints when we went in the country. They called us back because a couple of the people got a little attitude, and so of our people, and so
Good idea.
Yeah,
Who are you
really,
traveling
seriously.
with? Hey,
So-
idiots, we're in Iran. How about everybody shut
so
up?
they called me back. I'd already gone through, no problem, and we came back to get had to be fingerprinted, and I say, okay, well here they are. Here's my, and the other people are going, I'm going to my fingerprints, and I said. And the gentleman explained to me, he spoke some English, and he said, when we go to America, they stop us, they fingerprint us. I said, have at it, just let's do it so I can get on down the
Now,
road.
isn't it amazing? You're in a country that we've been told for 50 years is terrorism and blah, 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 whatever.
They were lovely to us.
I know, but whenever you travel, how come every group you travel with, there's always one idiot? Like, if I go to a foreign country, I'm pretty calm about it. I don't want to be a jerk because you didn't know what can happen. You get thrown in jail. You don't know what their laws are.
Right, exactly.
There's always one guy when you travel with that's like, I'm not taking this crap. I'm an American. Dude, thanks for keeping the cliche of what a bunch of douchebags we are alive. Nice job. Shut up. Get back on the plane. There's always one guy. Always. And he always brings up, what do you mean you can't take Jack Daniels into the country? Dude, it's a religion. Oh, you're screwing up. Yeah, we're all going to prison. Nice job. What do you mean you have hashish in your underwear? You don't smuggle hashish into a country like Iran? So, it's always that guy. I hung out with a lot of different people, though. Didn't she, dude?
Apparently you do.
Comics.
Yeah, comedians, right.
Comedians.
We're doing a one-nighter. What are you bringing pot into this country for? It's against their religion.
Actually, it was so many beautiful things to see there. It was really an amazing trip. I'm
Really?
very glad I went. Yeah, and also I have to figure out how to say this so I don't name any names. But we went to a place where we had to wear a baya, and all the
Abaya
women.
is the beekeeper
the whole
outfit.
black thing,
The
yeah.
beekeeper outfit, okay.
And but we had to wear a scarf. All of the women had to wear a scarf the whole time we were there. We couldn't show our hair. And I didn't have such a problem with that. I finally got used to that and figured out how to do it.
And also, as good as you are with hair, it probably was best.
No, yeah, I'm great. It's good to have a scarf.
Yeah, you can hide the damage. Of course, you poor little girl that you sent with the perm didn't have a scarf to hide her hair. She had a denim bow.
And
It was like
today,
bad perm highlighter.
But anyway, we went into this building and had to wear the abaya, and so I was walking around and looking. It was really beautiful in there, and I was so excited to see it. But I was taking pictures like I do everywhere. I show my students and things, and I kept stepping on it, and it would pull it off one way, which would make the scarf pull the other way, and I was so frustrated. And about 5 minutes into this, where this thing is keeping me from doing and moving freely, I got what it was like to be inside of that all the time.
Wow.
And honestly, I had a vision of, the Chinese women with their feet bound, that controlled kind of keeping you in a place where you can't really be free, move freely.
Move fast. You couldn't move fast. You can't do stuff, right?
But
it's brilliant, by the way. Keeping the women contained like that. Oh.
I came out of there just furious, because I just couldn't operate like I usually do. And of course, someone got a picture of me coming out there. One of my colleagues got a picture of me coming out frowning. But I
could you belt it?
It's really.
I'm trying to give
the point is to not accentuate the female form because you are beautiful, it makes you sinful. Your beauty is sin. And if you show
because
that,
you can entice.
And by the way, I have to point this out. Now, what's the phrase they use over there for women? I love that it's women's fault that guys are dumb or
it's not
douchebags. I love that.
He means your student that made the shirts.
The shirts.
I am not haram.
I am not.
What does haram mean?
Sinful. I am not.
Did we talk about this last time?
I don't think so.
So check this out. So
I am not sin. Doesn't that really get
Bombshell's wearing a shirt that says "I am not haram," which means I am not sin in the Middle East.
Well, actually, no, I do not wear it in the Middle East. I wear it in L.A., where you'd be shocked how many people can read Arabic.
Right. And what do they say?
They come up and of course it's right on your bosoms anyway. I mean,
right. I love that it's double. Like I am not haram, and it's on my knockers. Good job. Good job.
She said bosoms.
Yeah, bosoms. I took it a little further. Yeah. Please read my shirt and look at my boobs at the exact same time, because I am not sin, although your brain is full of it right now.
But I came out, and there was someone who was traveling with us part of the time, a person who was, and I said, 150 years of women's liberation and rights in the United States of America, and I am inside of an abaya. And really, I was that frustrated. And she just looked so startled. And before we left...
You're the one that's going to cause the international incident. It's going to be, we're going to be, oh, crap, Mom's on the nose! Crap.
I got that it was so confining in there. And
and hot.
And, well, it wasn't that it was hot in there. It was cool. That time period was cool, but it was just so I couldn't take pictures. As soon as I bent this way, I stepped on the thing, and when I got up to go that way,
I have a question. Could you put on a abaya, and if in protest, could you put the abaya on but be totally naked under it?
Oh, absolutely. People wear skimpy. Some of them. I don't know about in Iran,
Underpant? Just skimpy underpant.
They wear skimpy little clothes and tight little.
They
jeans.
wear like high-end designer, tight, low-cut, sexy.
Some people do.
Dolce outfits and stuff like that underneath.
Some people.
And they have women's parties, and they'll invite, and it can only be women, and they can take off their abaya inside the home.
Yeah, and with little dresses and things like that, because men and women do not party together. But anyway,
Man, that would be awesome.
The woman.
No, it wouldn't.
The woman says to me before I left.
Every woman was just thinking I wouldn't have to wear makeup. We'd all be in sweatpants.
No bad hair day.
No, man, we could eat like just grease out of a bucket, which is what we want to do half the time anyway. No, man.
But when I was.
Yeah, but I'm with a bunch of guys, we're sitting on our own stinks playing video games.
Right? Doesn't that sound
exactly
great?
Like you. No, not at all.
Oh. All right.
We by the way, the difference in the sexes, the need for each other keeps us from all turning into Jabba the Hutt. You know that. You guys need us to like you so you maintain, and we need you to like us so we maintain. That's what happens. There would be no showers if we couldn't hang out. It would just be a big funk. The global warming would increase 10,000% because just the stink would rise and it would just destroy the ozone. That's what would happen.
On a lighter note, I went to the doctor today and he said that I had lost 5 pounds. He weighs me every year when I come in, and it's because I've been so sick. So I high-fived him, and he looked shocked. He said, "You've been so sick, you've lost 5 pounds." High five.
That's right.
Super.
When he came out, I told him I had found them.
Yeah. The Ebola diet is very effective.
So, What else do you want to
I
say?
want to talk about Mom. It just seems like it's so backwards, and we keep thinking.
Let me tell you what the end of that story, just really quick.
So your boobs are out. You're wearing a shirt. Go ahead.
What?
I am not haram.
So before I left, a woman said to me, "When you're back in America with all your freedom, remember me."
She said that to you?
Yeah. I got tears in my eyes. I mean, it was like this moment where I looked at her. I just, we don't travel. Many Americans don't travel. And so we have these ideas because
we live here.
Well, not just that we live here, but because the media tells us, they tell us things, but they get the top story too. They don't get the full story. And you have to be somewhere on the ground for a while to really get what really is going on. And so when she said that to me, it's another aha moment to me, not just being inside of the abaya, but that what we have here, that by and large, what I see everywhere I go is people love the United States. They want to be here. The same time that the radicals in the country, of whatever country it is, want to kill us, want to destroy us, they envy us. They want what we have. I have a Pakistani driver who would love to immigrate to the United States.
Well, let me ask you then. So all we see on the news is death to America, Benghazi, burning American flags. So when you're saying when you're over there, the major people, the most of the people are like, no, man, we just want to live our life. America's cool. We're fine with America.
Everywhere in the world that you go, people are not politics.
I know, but
do you know what I mean?
But we forgot that. In this country, we've forgotten this. We've forgotten this, and that's the whole point of today's Armageddon. Not that we have forgotten it. That, we forgot that the dude down your street who doesn't believe what you believe is a human being just like you. And I know I sound real touchy-feely right now, but the discourse is so bad, and you're saying it's the same way in other countries. The politics is what's on the news, and the people are not.
I think a lot of times people are shocked by what their politicians do. I mean, I certainly have been.
Yeah, holy crap.
And I think that the human element, you and me and Ray and whoever, we all want a nice place to live, a warm house. We want a car to drive that gets it there. We want frozen yogurt occasionally. We want our children to have
Bombshell's
an education.
nodding vigorously.
But who doesn't want that? Everybody, the people, the humans. That's why everywhere I've ever been in the world, I have liked the people.
Yeah.
I don't always like the politics, but the people are, by and large, they're us, And we have probably, here in L.A., I'm all the time running into a Persian, an Iranian. A lot of them are here.
Right.
And the people are good. They're good people.
That's why I think we need a big comet to just hit. I don't want to hit landmass. I'm going to hit big ocean thing and destroy.
Well, now there's a thought.
Destroy a big chunk of us. A big chunk of us. So we wake up to the fact, even if I have to go, if it's for the savior of humanity, I'm okay if I get taken out. Because then it would go, wait a minute, all this crap that we're doing Joe Rogan said something brilliant. He said we are just bacteria on a sandwich.
But we do. We have major natural disasters, especially over the last few years. We had
like 1 billion of us got to get taken out.
Oh my gosh. Christopher, give me a piece of paper and I'm going to number.
We need to start numbering.
I'm going to number my page.
All I'm saying is that you don't. In this country we believe. First of all, our media, it's interesting to watch the media to me. The media is the devil right now. I've really come to agree over the last year that our media is really the devil. When you watch it, what was happening recently? I said, have you noticed that they haven't reported about this?
Well, the plane forever, they just quit reporting on.
Yeah, no, there was something there was something going on during the plane.
Sorry, it was the Ukraine, Crimea thing.
Right.
And they kept reporting on that missing Malaysian flight.
For 45 days.
And never talked about the people dying and what was happening.
And yet we had Russia making a big move and taking a sovereign country, piece of a sovereign country. And I remember, and I turned around and I go, why aren't they talking about what Russia's doing right now? It disappeared. There was a plane with absolutely it was like, breaking news. We still haven't found the plane. Let's talk about why we haven't found it. And they would do that for an hour. But if you go to BBC, Ukraine is on fire. There's people flipping out. And I thought, our media, our media is not run by our media. Reporters suck ass right now. Our media is run by our government and tells the reporter what to report on. If you notice, and how to color it, it's weird. The BBC freaks me out because I'll watch CNN, I'll watch a little bit of Fox, a little bit of NBC, MSNBC, and then I'll turn to the BBC, and it's totally different news. It's entirely
Yeah, it
different.
is. Even I used to when I first moved overseas. This time I would listen to French news because I could understand enough of it to get what was going on. I would listen to. They had a news station out of Lebanon. I would listen to the BBC, and I would listen to whatever American news program going on. And it's shocking, how different the coverage is.
Yeah. Well, in our country, it's different. CNN to Fox, MSNBC. It's they're talking about the same thing 3 different ways.
Well, that's what's weird to me is that those CNN, MSNBC, and Fox have become a partisan issue to where we're in North Carolina and I'm visiting with one of my cousins and she says she has to preface it because they think that I'm this wild raging liberal because I hang out with you, and she
I'm
goes,
not a wild raging liberal.
and she goes, well, let me just say first, I'm one of the people that watches Fox, and I was like, okay, well. All right,
and
that, but
I
that
watch
was
Disney Channel. I just said I don't see Disney Channel because I got kids. It's weird.
that was like a divider.
And you're
though.
good
Do you
at
know
it.
what I mean? Like now,
That's what I
people
mean.
that watch Fox seem to be a little more wound up about people that watch other channels, and vice versa. It's gotten really weird.
Right.
And
I agree.
it shouldn't be that. They're there to give an unbiased report of what's happening in our country because we have a right to that information to some extent, but it's not. It's not unbiased. And if they really want to shut it down, then they talk about Jay-Z and Beyonce for a while.
Fox News is the Ted Nugent of news. Fox News has got to this point now where I'm just like, if you ever watch Jon Stewart, The Daily Show on Comedy Central,
Occasionally.
okay, we have found that we can watch all the news stations during the day, and then we'll watch Jon Stewart, and it really encompasses it well. And slam when Obama switched his mind, he took on Obama and slammed Obama. Nancy Pelosi, he went after Pelosi. He went after he goes after the left too when they screw up. But they do a thing called Bullshit Mountain about Fox, and then he just goes, "Here's what Fox said," and they list the 35 facts they got wrong, and you just go, "Okay, if that's." Oh, and the great thing is when they put together, they play the same guy saying 3 different things, and he totally changes his mind. And
It's the same with MSNBC though, with
Yeah,
the
it
Ed
is.
Show and stuff
Oh,
like
the
that.
Ed Show, yeah.
It's the really bombastic news people that it's like they're not even news people anymore. They're just these stupid,
TV
big, fat,
personalities.
beef-eater, gassy mouthpiece.
that's Fox. The other people they're vegan, gassy. On MSNBC, it's vegan, gassy.
I don't know. That Ed
gluten-free
guy's been
eating.
eating some beef. I would wager.
But what you see is
That Ed
people
guy.
who have an idea about how things are, and they gather facts to support their idea. They don't
Gather the
facts
facts.
and then make
Right.
from looking at that they
Right.
don't, and so we used to call it PC, being PC, whatever PC is for the group that you support. When I was in
Right.
graduate school. I was shocked to find that one of my colleagues in grad school had found out that I had voted for a certain president, and she told me that if she had known I had voted for him when she met me, she wouldn't have spoken to me. Now, this is an
That's
ultra-liberal
insane.
artist type who would not have spoken to me
She's a
if
liberal-
she had known. Now, what
liberal?
is that? Yeah, ultra.
Liberal.
But I didn't have a problem with her. And I said to her one day, I said, I am willing to listen to you. It doesn't hurt me to listen to you. I don't mind listening to
Right.
you. What is it that you can't listen to that is so painful to you?
It's like that's a weird thing. Is or I call them jihad atheists.
My grandmother used to say, not to interrupt you, of course. My grandmother used to say, "Does it hurt to listen?"
No,
It-
it doesn't.
it doesn't
I
hurt
agree
to
with that.
listen.
That's why I always say we should have a government-sponsored bi-weekly block party where everybody in your block has to get together, and you have to have a Sunday from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Everybody has to get together, sit at the same table, and eat. Now, what would happen was we'd start to know our neighbors, number one. Crime would drop. But the other thing is, would you start to know they're just people. He doesn't believe what I believe. And when you talk about reporting, it's like if you live in a dark room for 2 years and your first report is the sun has gone out. It's like, well, no, that's you were in a dark room, dumbass. And that's what I think
Exactly.
Fox News and MSNBC does sometimes. They find their dark room and report what's in that room without taking into any fact. Like even Republicans now are starting to go, yeah, global warming looks like it's kind of real. We're kind of and they're trying.
Hot.
Yeah, it's really hot, and the water levels we're kind of screwed, aren't we? And everyone's starting to react to it now. But for so long, it's a liberal conspiracy.
That's the same thing. That's one of my.
Well, actually, NPR did an article, a story about that global warming was not the real issue.
Well,
Which I actually heard, and I was so shocked by that point of view because that's
it's not
what
global,
you
it's
hear.
climate change. It's not global warming. What's happening is
But Napoleon couldn't get to Russia because they were having a mini ice age. I mean, these things are cyclical. So how can we say
that's untrue? And Ray has a great quote. That is untrue. And Ray has a great point. Your daughter has the best point of this that I've heard. When
have it.
she said it so simply. It's so simple. I was like, exactly. How can you say in the industrial age over 100 years we have pumped this much crap and
Chemicals.
Pollutants into the air for over 100
into a
years?
living thing and not expect some
Something to
negative
change.
reaction. It's the same as if you introduce chemicals into your body. It's causing these chemicals that we've been putting in our body are causing cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. So I don't understand why we wouldn't think that it would cause some problems for
And what
us.
does it hurt anybody to accept the scientific fact? There is not one scientist right now that believes, oh, no, from 4 years ago, the report you're talking about, that was okay. You have to look at it. You should do some research now because there's not one
this
scientist
is a
that's saying,
sidelight. This is not one of my main things that I'm interested in, but yeah.
but I am because it means my kids, my grandkids are
But
gonna
in
have trouble.
fact, it is true that there was a mini ice age during that time in the 1800s. That's a fact. You may look that one up. I'm not saying whatever we're going through right now is not somewhat.
In the
but,
70s,
but
they
if
said
you
we-
have a huge, if you've read the literature, if you have a huge eruption of a volcano, it throws so much stuff into the atmosphere that it too has changed things over time.
Right.
So.
I agree with weather being cyclical, but I also really I have no
you pump oil
evidence
into the
either
ocean.
way except common sense to say,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's crazy, but I'm going to use it. Get ready. Here it comes. Here
You
it
gave it to her, so.
is that it's cyclical, and we need to look at what we're doing to hurt our environment at the same time because we're doing things in ways now that they were not done before. And our friend Bay, that's his job. He works for the state. He's an attorney, and he's dealing specifically with environmental issues as they pertain to major companies' factories. Right now, there's like a releasing cyanide into our water case and things like that. It's just, I just think we have to look at
And they've
our
been doing it-
responsibility.
And they've been doing it for 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
And they're wondering why.
Here in California?
Yes.
Are they
And
crazy?
so, well, they the inspectors and stuff, and they said they complied and blah, blah, blah. We heard the story. They complied, but they hadn't complied. They just found another way to dump it. And so what's happening is you can't. Look, I don't mind. Here's what I want. I want everybody. People go, Titus, you're liberal. I'm not. I want everybody to make money. I want to make money. But I don't think that you should make money at the expense of killing a bunch of animals and stuff. When they talk about clean coal, you put the word clean in front of coal, it doesn't make coal clean. It's still coal. Just because the Orwellian phrase clean coal happens. And that's what I'm saying. So now, we're doing, by the way, what I'm talking about. You
That's
started to
right.
say there's no global warming. I say there is. But we're doing it in a way, and I started, by the way, I want you to know, I just started to get fired up.
He wrote something on his list, and then he drew pictures of flames next
That's
to
the
it.
planet on fire. This is the planet. I do
You
flames.
need to do television.
And then I do flames, and that's continents, and the planet's on fire. There you go. So that's what I wrote.
Clean coal. It's like squeaky black lung.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That's
got
why,
the squeaky?
That's why clean coal. What you do is you have to breathe in Windex, and then it's clean. That's how you do
It's like everything. Like even my dad said back in the day, they didn't say IED. That's just like we keep adding new names to make things sound more innocuous and more like just really nice.
Well, because then you don't mind. Then you don't think about every day that kids are getting blown up. If you say IED, you don't say an improvised explosive device. Wait a minute, what does that mean?
He had a slang for it that he
How about
said
a
was what it
bomb?
used to be called. Yeah.
Yeah, booby trap. They called it a booby trap. They had booby traps all over. A booby trap would blow your legs off, right? Yeah. So so now, and we've got a bunch of people screaming about going to war and going this and taking people on, and I want to go ahead. Tell you what, you get your buddies that want to go, and you go. I'm fine with that. Fine with that. In fact, we'll support you here. I will donate metal. I will work hard for the war effort. But you want to go to war, you go to war. Go ahead. And it's never the guys that go. It's the guys that wanted to go to war, want us to go to war, don't go to war. And yet, my cousin Scotty, he's EOD, and he's in the Navy, explosive ordnance. Basically, he takes bombs apart. That's what he does. He finds, before the SEALs go in, my cousin goes in first and finds the bombs so the SEALs can get through it. That's what he does. That's his job. Mm-hmm. I don't want him going. When they said they're sending advisors to Iraq again, I'm like, okay, we just did Iraq. We're done with Iraq.
Yeah, but we weren't done when we pulled out. One of the servicemen who were...
We should never have gone.
Now, you told me we were not going to talk about what we shouldn't have done, that we were there, and then that's all it was going to be. Now, that's what you told me.
But you're just
Your
saying,
parameters...
we actually followed exactly the treaty that George Bush signed. He said we had to be out.
I was just getting ready to tell you, not what the politicians said, but what a young man said who's a serviceman.
Right.
And what he said was, we aren't finished there.
Right.
If
I
they
knew that.
pull us out now, we'll be back within 3 years. And he wasn't kidding.
Well,
he had it right, and this was just a young guy, not some.
No, that's not addressing whether we should have gone.
No,
or
it has
not.
nothing to do with it.
But also, our
It's
president,
now that it's been started.
Yes.
Was his,
our president signed an agreement that we would be out by 2011, and the president that came after him followed that agreement. And people get fired up. But we pulled out. No, we followed the agreement as per.
It doesn't matter, because at the point that we pulled out,
they were in disarray still. They weren't together.
And
their troops weren't trained. They
and
couldn't
so-
handle it. And as ISIS shows.
But the problem is that we're left with the mess. It is a mess.
Why though?
And here's my thinking on it. I wouldn't have gone in to begin with. I wouldn't have. Nobody asked me, obviously.
Right.
But once
yeah,
we're
but
there,
someone didn't try to kill your dad.
But once we're there, we have to operate with integrity. And once we as a country, which we are doing, have stopped operating with integrity in the world, then that's where nobody can trust us. And
Well,
I
what do you
think
mean?
you need
What-
somebody you can trust.
What do you mean by that? Well, we operate with integrity. What does that mean?
Operating with integrity is once you're there, you don't go in there, blow everything up, make a bunch of promises, and then some politician somewhere says, okay, out. So you have not, there's no infrastructure really in place for the people to operate. And truly there wasn't.
Those bases came out nice. Camp Victory is amazing. The infrastructure we built for our guys is great. I've been
and
there.
left it,
Yeah, but they could just put a mall in it,
Yeah.
Then that's brilliant.
If only they
infrastructure.
had money.
I think the weirdest thing is we signed a 99
Water.
we signed 99-year leases on those bases, and we still walked out of 2011.
I'm just saying we operate without integrity sometimes, and when we start doing that, then it's a great loss to the world.
Going in was lying about the weapons. Going
because
integrity.
we
But-
believe in our country.
I know.
You know?
But here's
That's the thing.
Here's the thing. If you look at foreign aid and what this country needs, education and everything, we need to stop. We are never, and you've lived there for a long time, America will not change the Middle East. It's not going to happen.
No.
Democracy will not take hold. It just won't. You've got a tribal nation.
It's not a place for democracy.
They also didn't have the steps we had. We went from where we were. We had the industrial age. We had a revolution.
From all the way from the Greeks and the Romans.
Right.
That's
We came from way back. We came from a very intellectual place. They didn't. They came from a nomadic, killing, violent place.
Actually, in the 9th, 10th, 11th century, in there, Baghdad was
I'm not
a
going back
center
that far. My calendar only goes back to the 13th century.
It was really a center where people came from all over the world. Thinkers came from all over the world to Baghdad.
What killed it?
They actually began fighting, and that particular dynasty fell apart, and that's what's happened throughout the time since the 6th century. That's exactly what's happened. Is they, just like everybody in the world, just about nobody can be right for a long enough time that somebody doesn't try to take something away from them, and then that falls away, and the next thing builds up. But there was a time when it was like the Renaissance almost. It was in Europe, but at a different time period.
So it was cool.
Of course, it was very cool.
A lot of good food, people talking, laughing, good music,
A lot of good science,
science,
all kinds of things. Yeah.
science, art, and then they came in and said, "Now let's just kill everybody." You know, we'll do.
Not exactly.
Whereas we have monster trucks at our halftime shows, they actually have beheadings. And, it's different. It's exciting. Both of them are exciting. One wastes a lot of fuel and it contributes to global warming.
The beheadings.
No, monster trucks.
Oh, okay.
The monster trucks.
Do you want to go to news? Because I feel like everyone just really wants to hear my melodious voice.
Yeah, I do. So let me say this before we go to news. I just want to say that right now, people, all we can do in America right now is to, no matter what your buddy believes, and by the way, if he ain't your buddy because you don't like what he believes, then you're a douchebag. Spend some time with the person. And if you don't agree with them, fine. But I tell you what, if you sit in a room with everybody who believes exactly what you believe, what's going to happen is our country's going to be in flames in 20 years, and we can't do that. The people that we have to be against, the people that we have to watch, are the people that say they're helping us. Because if you look at the results in the last 12 years, they ain't. All right. So now we're going to go to, they ain't helping us. They just ain't helping us.
We ended on
Another positive note.
bad grammar.
They ain't.
He ain't heavy.
I'm talking
He's
to my
brother.
I'm talking to my people. Real talk.
You peeps.
Real talk, girl. That's right.
You
Church.
Yeah. She said Renaissance, and I thought,
Can
oh God,
I get
I felt our
witness?
listeners going, what Renaissance? I can't. I must turn it off now, because. But we're just not going to change them, so we have to move on. Let's take care of home first, and then we can go back to saving the
Was
world.
Willie going to come today? Did he?
That's a
call
whole
him?
other argument.
I told Willie not to come because he bothers your mother when he comes here, and I told him.
I like
said
Willie.
today, I know, but
He's
next
the
week
man.
he'll be here next week. I told him he can come next week, but I wanted. This is your mom's. She just got
He
back.
loves my mom.
He loves your mom too much. It's weird. It gets creepy.
All right. I have a nominee for Mother of the Year.
And now, Bombshell Rae from across the world, continent to continent, sea to sunny sea, and sometimes space. It's Bombshell Rae with the Bombshell News. Dun dun dun. First story.
A mom has now been jailed in Texas after her 4 children fell from the roof of her car while she was driving drunk because she didn't want them to get the seats wet when she picked them up from swim class.
So she had them sit on the roof?
Here's the thing. There were 6 children total on the hood and the roof of the car, and only 4 fell. So I feel like her odds were fairly good for the game that she was playing. 2 out of 6. That's 1/3. No.
I have got to say, when you think of dumb, let me put some wet, slippery children on a moving vehicle on paint and let them just try to hold on. I would say this. She should have raised them better.
To hold on.
Yeah, you got to learn how to get some grip.
Well, their survival instinct should have been better with the alcoholic mom, but apparently she didn't know that she had flung them on the corner that she took at high speed. So they flew off at this tight corner, and she just kept on trucking. She still had 2 on the car.
No one died? Please tell me no one died.
No.
Oh, good. Thank God. Don't worry. You're wearing your bathing suit. If you fall off, roll. Just tuck and roll. My God.
That's why she's Mother of the Year. Because they all lived. They had a great time. They're in the news.
They get taken away?
They're
famous?
They're famous, and 2 got to go for the whole ride. She was drunk, so she went to jail. 3 of the kids were taken to the Cook's Children Medical Center. Oh, maybe there was. Oh, oops.
What?
Well, 1 was airlifted to a hospital for a severe head injury.
But didn't die.
That's the last sentence of the story that I didn't read. I've been sick.
Yeah, it was such a good news person to just kind of glance at the headline and then riff it until the last.
They're alive, but that one
But you
girl.
did stuff like that to her. Yeah, I heard stories when you dropped her off at school and just told her to get a ride home on her own, but you never drove drunk with her.
That's not true. That is not true.
How is that the same thing as driving drunk?
That's when we lived in Japan, and the bus driver did not
No,
stop.
in New Orleans, when at Ben Franklin, because you were working in the CBD, and I didn't know anyone, and you'd tell me to find a ride home. And there was that stinky girl with the red perm, and I would always ask her because I thought she'd be happy to have a friend. And so at the end of the day, I walked up to her mom's minivan, smiling, and her mom said no.
You were 16.
I was 14. But thank you for remembering. I was 14. I was still a child.
My dad left me home by myself when I was 9. He'd go out dancing, and I would say, basically, and I do the joke on stage. Now, listen, the doors are locked. If you go outside, I hope something kills you. So, fear is a free babysitter.
I don't understand how that's the same as a woman driving with children on
I'm
their car.
just saying sometimes parents get in a situation where they got to do something that maybe is not exactly legal.
We have an American exchange student that was here visiting, and it's now been reported that...
We exchanged someone from America? That's good. So how did they like America when they came from America?
What?
Where are they from?
Yeah, it's an American exchange student? Because welcome to Mexico.
Not
What?
here. Sorry. He's in Germany.
Okay,
How did
thank
I
you.
say that?
You said we have an American exchange student here.
Oh, here in the
You are
iPad.
You're on so much medication.
Here
now.
in the iPad, we got an American exchange.
Here in the iPad.
Anyway, he went over to Germany, and you might know about this sculpture because you are an art professor. There's a giant vagina sculpture. Have you heard of that?
I believe I missed
Oh,
it.
I did hear this is hilarious.
It's at the Tübingen University's Institute for Microbiology and Virology. Anyway, our student...
Wait, there's a vagina statue at the virology? So that's hilarious.
And microbiology, yes.
A lot of viruses come from this.
It's one of our people went to Germany
I
and
am
got
horrified.
stuck in the vagina.
Climbed into the vagina sculpture and then got stuck.
So the firemen came.
No doubt to do a selfie.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for life.
Probably. There were 22 fire people there that got him out of the
And
vagina
it took 22
sculpture.
because as they showed up, they were laughing so hard they couldn't help the guy. So finally, the 22nd guy was, what the hell are you guys laughing about? By then, the first guy had stopped laughing and he got to work. But it took 22 guys just to get the guy out of the vagina sculpture. You know what? I love that it made international news. You idiot.
That's because this is America, and that's awesome. That's an awesome story. That's our American dream at work right there.
Yep.
Let's go to Florida. Florida man who doused
Smells
his
like
wife
Florida.
in gasoline.
Oh,
It really smells like Florida.
This is not a new Florida
And
story.
threatened to light her on fire. His defense now is that he was just joking.
I get it. It's funny.
He says that he was trying to ignite gasoline, but he had accidentally spilled it all over his wife on her bed.
What?
So
when he was going to light the gasoline,
Does he have a really old VCR? That gasoline-powered VCR that he was refilling? Is that why he got loose in the bedroom?
Here's the great thing. She got on the stand and defended him as a good guy and a good husband and father. Because
that's Florida. Man.
That's Florida.
That is Florida. He poured gasoline and threatened to light you on fire, and you went up there. He's my baby's daddy, and I love him. He's a good man. He just gets around fuel, and he goes crazy.
He said
Every
that
time somebody says baby daddy to me, I want to have some kind of, I don't know.
Aneurysm?
Yes.
Yes.
My baby daddy.
he was just trying to get her to stop talking, which I think every man has thought of lighting his woman on fire.
You know what you do? You get a lighter and hairspray. That's what works. You don't have to burn it.
Wasn't that how you felt last night with us in stereo when
I will
either
say
side talking
this.
to you?
I came down. I was and I was watching TV, American Pickers. I know I shouldn't be saying I'm admitting to watching American Pickers, but they found this stash of motorcycles, old Indians, and I got intensely interested. I'm sitting between Bombshell and Bombshell. And all of a sudden, the conversation starts to go about, what is it? Some sort of food
Lip
item.
moisturizer.
No, that was the second one. No, the first one was, oh my God, did you eat that? Yeah, it was phenomenal. You guys were talking.
The gluten-free toaster waffle.
Gluten-free. We were talking about, they were talking over me, gluten-free toast with the excitement as if they had both found gold doubloons on a beach. It was crazy. And at one point, I just was like, ah!
It had macadamia nut butter
Oh, that's what it was.
and honey on it.
And I was kind of in because I remember eating it. I thought that was really good. And then it just went on. And I was 9 minutes in and I went, I don't, we're done talking about this. I haven't talked about global warming this long ever. And it's going to kill the planet.
Then we talked about lip moisturizer.
Oh, and I put it on my hands and my hands just felt like they were brand new. I know, you know what I got? And I just looked. And, I'm sure guys talk about stupid stuff too. Most guys are quiet though.
Oh my
You
goodness.
have a whole podcast about it. This is what we do every week. Bombshell's not here, and I'm with you and Willie talking about stupid guy stuff.
Yeah.
A woman has actually hopped the zoo fence. Her name is Michelle Beasley, another one of those zoo fence hoppers.
What is she? What cage did she jump into?
The lions.
Why do people? How come no one jumps into the otter cage? And nobody goes in to play with just to play with the bunnies. No one jumps the bunny cage. It's always, let me see what animal can rip me limb from limb and just spew my blood around this cage. So what happened?
She was at the Memphis Zoo.
Oh my God!
And she first started singing. People, onlookers, described it as belting out a tune that she had written about how much she missed the felines, and then she climbed into over the fence because she wanted to feed them cookies.
Please tell me they killed her. Please tell me it just ripped her to death and killed her. Because we need to edit these people out of our DNA. Are you kidding me? What happened?
No, they got her out, but she was just trying to feed them cookies. Because apparently they like cookies.
Well, you know what? The lions track cookies in the wild. If you've ever seen National Geographic, they do. To track down a cookie in the wild, they will take a cookie down from 50 yards like that.
What? Police have confiscated weapons from what they're calling a Pastafarian. An Australian man says that 4 police came into his home and took 4 of his guns because he posed for his firearm license photo with a colander on his head.
Say that again.
Haven't you heard about this? We've had a story in the past.
Pastafarians. Basically, it's kind of a religion.
It's the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. And they wear the colander on their head.
They wear a spaghetti colander on your head. It's kind of mocking religion, and it's a kind of a funny atheist. They're kind of funny atheists.
The rule is you have to have your entire face uncovered, and if the headgear is being worn, it has to have some religious significance, which is what our laws say for the picture. So he put a colander on his head, and his religious significance is he's a Pastafarian.
When they came and took his guns.
They've now come into his home and confiscated his weapons because of that.
Because he's crazy.
Also, did you see that new movie that's coming out? The Seth Rogen, James Franco movie?
I saw a clip. What was it about? What's it about?
It's basically a spoof on Kim Jong-un, the little fat video game player. He has now promised publicly, he said he's promising merciless retaliation if this movie comes out.
Against Seth Rogen?
Against us. War. He's claiming war against the United States if they release this movie. Because in the movie, they're parodying him. They've got a guy that plays, but they're not saying it's him or that it's Korea.
But aren't they assassins and they have to go kill him or something like that?
North Korea.
They have to go kill Seth Rogen.
But
James
it's
Franco.
very obviously him.
Right.
It's very obviously North Korea. But
how about you get the power on and get your people sandwiches, Mister, instead of worrying about a Seth Rogen movie? It's crazy to me that we've come to this place and that's a narcissistic leader to the point. A movie's coming about me. You think he'd take it the other way and be happy?
No, it's not. It's not complimentary. And I'm going to use this as my old people still kicking it.
Old people still. And now old people still kicking it. Whoa! I got a semi.
What?
Go.
I think that it's sad though, but this 83-year-old guy named Walter Crompton actually went into the nursing home to visit his wife, and he put a pain patch on her because he loves her and she's in pain. And the care home staff called the police when he left, and he was arrested. He's 83 years old. He was held for 7 hours with no food. His house was raided, and he was forced to give a DNA sample and has to have supervised visits.
They can't force someone to give a DNA sample.
Well, when you're 83, you can force them to do a lot. They're feeble. And they're supervising his visits with his wife. But I thought it was pretty badass. Like 83 years old, he's going to be with his wife, and she's in pain, so he's sneaking in pain patches that he got from her doctor.
And when I go down, you better be coming in with it. You better just say,
where is that?
Syringes of heroin.
Blackley, Manchester. It's in England.
Oh, in England. Mm.
She has dementia.
We have gotten to a place where we actually, it's just amazing to me.
Well, fortunately, that was not in America. Let's have
a moment of joy that wasn't in America, but they still we
do.
As a matter of fact, that anything untoward happens in another country, I'm just happy because I can just say at least it wasn't us. But Florida really destroys that every week.
Yeah, I actually had a story for Willie this week about these brilliant inmates. Remind me to share it with him, that were loading a football with drugs and they were long tossing it into the football prison yard where it would get mixed in with the game that the guys were playing. It's brilliant.
That's a brilliant idea. Wow.
So too. Well, they obviously got it. Well, obviously wasn't that brilliant because it's in the news, but it might have worked for a while.
Yeah, it didn't work even once. They caught it right away.
No, they didn't say that. They just said this time they caught it. And now they're in trouble. Had heroin, marijuana, tobacco, 3 cell phones, and chargers.
Oh, man. That's a lot of work. That's great. And they threw it and just mixed it in with the game, started playing it?
Yep.
Couldn't the guard just catch it, though, and just get a knife, get a blade, a box cutter, and open it up?
You'd have to notice it coming over the fence.
You really wouldn't notice someone just heaving a football over a barbed wire? I guess you'd have to pay attention.
Plus, some people can throw a football a really long way. You stand far away and get it over the wall. If no one's looking right in that split second, you got to weigh your odds. It's like putting 6 kids on top of your car.
Yeah, right.
You got to weigh your odds.
I bet I can make it home if I just take the car slow.
How many am I going to have when I get there, and is that worth it to keep my seats dry? And she played the odds, and she won.
How nice was her car? I don't. Here's what I don't think. I don't think that the woman who had the 6 kids sitting in her car was driving a Bentley Continental.
They actually
R.
said what it was. I think it was like a Buick or something.
Yeah, but you weren't driving a car nice. It can get a little wet. It's okay.
But how drunk would you have to be to put your children on the hood of your car? I mean, seriously, how drunk would you have to be?
To think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
To go, you know what, here's how we're going to keep the car clean.
And what's the rest of your thought life like when you're not drunk?
And just car guy knowledge to be, yeah, exactly. Well, but to put a bunch of kids on a fresh paint job and just scratch the hell out of your paint, a lot more expensive than getting a little bit of water on your seat, which they do at the car shop. So it's stupid. Florida's always stupid. Florida will never get better. I don't understand Florida. I'm actually shocked. Oh, it's in Georgia. The guy that killed his kid is in Georgia. So it's close. I'm sure he spent time in Florida. You know when it's crazy like that, they spend time in Florida. All right, so guess where we're not going to be playing next couple weeks? Florida. So this week we're going to be in Vegas. At the South Point Casino. We're doing shows Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Are we doing a Friday show with the fireworks situation?
We're doing a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday show. One show a night at the South Point Casino and
Hotel.
Show,
Angry Pursuit of Happiness, best show I've ever written. Then we're going to be, the next week we have to do the Crest Theater in Sacramento on Friday the 11th and the Rio Theater in Santa Cruz on the 12th. Also on the 10th, my new TV show, Pawnography, comes out on the History Channel with myself, Rick, Corey, and Chumley from Pawn Stars. It's really funny, people. You should listen to it. Corey, I don't know which episode they're going to show first, but Corey is pretty funny. Corey nails me pretty hard. And Chumley's really funny, too. And Rick's a genius. Rick was blowing away PhDs. Like, they were on the show asking about history and stuff, and he was killing PhDs. It's amazing. And fun. It was a lot of fun. And thanks for listening. By the way, we are on Breathe Radio. Keep listening to Breathe Radio. I like that you're sick. It sounds way worse. Welcome to Respirator Radio. So keep listening there. And Bombshell, thanks for being on. Thanks for always giving us a little insight. And people, about America, if you hate this country, if you were bitching about this country all the time, remember, still the best. Mm-hmm. Still the best. The freedom we have, even our tax rates seem high, but compared to other countries, we're low. So just do me a favor. Enjoy the country. And if the guy next to you on 4th of July doesn't agree with you, crack him a beer, hand it to him, and listen to what he says. And just understand him as a human first.
And then give him a ride on the hood of your car.
Yeah. Get drunk, though. See, and then that's how you settle the argument. See who can stay on the hood the longest. That's how you settle the argument. I'm Christopher Titus, Titus Podcast for myself, Bombshell Rae, and the lovely Bombshell. Later.
Peace out.
Good night.
It's not nighttime.
Well, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are.
They could be listening.
Oh, it's nighttime in Kuwait, though.
There you go. So her schedule's all screwed up.
She added a little international life flair.